Well, good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Happy Father's Day out there to all the fathers, and thank everybody for all of the Father Day wishes that you guys have bestowed upon me. I really and truly appreciate that, and it's just really nice to have such a wonderful day and to try and give back to the ones that are the reason why we're here, because without somebody being your daddy, you ain't here. And so I'm going to go ahead and end this day off. We're going to have a little bit of fun. I like having fun because this is the silly season of the NFL. You know, everybody's got their ideas and concepts, and it's been my observation over the time that I've been on Facebook and YouTube and all of the above, that what's always happens in the offseason is people will look at what a team did the year before and automatically think that it's going to repeat. You can go through with the preseason polls, and basically everybody who made the playoffs last year, they're looking at them and saying they're going to be a good team this year. In fact, it's almost comical because with the NFC East, with nobody having repeated since the 2003-2004 season, that the NFC East is literally it's like a conveyor belt of new champions. And the teams that end up winning, no matter how well you think that they're built, head for a fall. But they don't take that into consideration. Case in point, because this is deja vu for me. Actually, let me go to this clip first of Deion Sanders because, you know, we are actually getting a little bit of hype and things like that where Jerry Jones is like P.T. Barnum. Every year we get sold a whole bunch of hype where everybody all of a sudden starts picking the Dallas Cowboys. And Deion Sanders goes ahead and he puts it in a nutshell for us. Deion, go on.
So right now we've got quarterbacks and editors tripping because that's what's going on right now. One of your old teams, Prom, the Dallas Cowboys, they always generate a ton of talk. With a healthy quarterback, Dak Prescott, are they the team to beat right now in the NFC East?
No, they ain't the team to beat. Jerry Jones is remarkable. Jerry is unbelievable. Every year, Jerry has figured out a way to make us believe that the Dallas Cowboys are the team to beat. No, the Dallas Cowboys ain't a team to beat. We mentioned two of the offensive players, Dak as well as Zeke. No one mentioned their line, and no one mentioned the defense that was horrific. When I say horrible, I mean horrible with a capital H last season. And how do you constitute for that in the offseason? I know you had some drafted players that you hope and you pray to pay dividends, but I don't like it whatsoever. But they will compete because the NFC East is hot garbage. Hot garbage with steam. Hot garbage in Texas right now. Hot garbage, Mississippi. It is about 100 out here right now. It's hot garbage, the NFC East.
Prime, when you talk about hot garbage, sometimes when players leave teams, like you left the Atlanta Falcons, you leave them in lurch. Looking at the Atlanta Falcons, they just traded away Julio Jones. How are the Falcons going to be without the franchise player number 11 that was there for so long?
All right, so enough of Deion here. So Deion basically says the Cowboys are hot garbage, and you know he didn't really give a prediction on who he thought was going to be the team to beat or anything else. But I want to go back to this whole thing because I want you to remember this time last year how teams and people were thinking that the Philadelphia Eagles were great. And that the Eagles, because of what happened, the way they ended the season, you know, the Eagles ended up beating, of course, our Cowboys 17-9. They ended up beating the Giants. They beat the Washington football team. And people were going through, and they were literally saying that Carson Wentz got it together. He ended up taking his team and leading him to the playoffs. And what I said was, I hate to say it, you know, Dak Prescott had a hurt shoulder. You know, as good as everybody said Carson Wentz was, between the two games he played with the Cowboys, they only scored 26 points. And when you're beating dogs like everybody was in the NFC East, and as Deion pointed out, you know, we're hot garbage this year. Well, we were kind of hot garbage last year as well. So the day before the season started, I actually recorded this video, and I was actually talking about my buddy, Philly 500, who actually has a swollen knee, kind of like his head. It's swollen as big as his head. I told him when your knee gets that swollen, you need to go to the doctor, and I hope he does, because I remember when I had a flesh-eating bacteria, and part of the reasons why I'm having surgery this week is because I had an infection in my knee. But Philly 500 was drinking that Kool-Aid much like the Washington fans are right now. I know you can't say, it's okay, it's okay. But we're about 5 hours in on smoking our pork shoulders. We're going to have some delicious pulled pork sliders tomorrow. Oh, yes. My God. Yes. I can't wait. I can't wait. And so if you've been following along, you're getting all my cooking secrets and stuff on this. But I am as excited as can be for tomorrow. I don't know what to expect. But somebody, one of the experts out there, actually Philly 500 told me exactly what's going to happen. And you guys, some of you guys who are part of my test stream heard it. But Philly 500 called me, and he said that the Philadelphia Eagles were going to win the division by not 1, by not 2, but by 3 games. And that the Cowboys wouldn't even come in second place. We did come in second, though. I was like, wait.
We did.
So what is your prediction for your record? I said, you saying like 13-3? No. We're going to go like 12-4, maybe 11-5. So I said, wait a minute. If you go 11-5 and the Cowboys aren't even coming up, you're going to win at least by 3 games. Then that's 8-8 for second place. And you're saying the Cowboys won't even be in second place. So you're saying that the Cowboys are going to go backwards? He said, yeah, well, here's the thing. Here's my expert analysis. Expert. And I just got a notification from him. Philly 500 says is because his team has the coaching experience. Because that the Washington whatevers, the New York stinking Giants, and the Dallas Cowboys all have new coaches. He said, I know you kept the same offensive coordinator, but Mike McCarthy, he said, is going to be pass happy. He's going to be pass happy. Is going to get away from Zeke Elliott. And that's going to cause the Dallas Cowboys to have a rough season, including losing to the Rams. I said, Philly, I don't mean any harm. But you got that 1 o'clock game. That game that's going to be 7 hours before my game. And you don't have Miles Sanders, which is one of those security blankets for Carson Wentz. Understand that Carson Wentz has become Mr. Checkdown. I'm going to throw it to the tight ends and the running back because I can't push the ball downfield. I know you're going to have Ragar there, who's a rookie with a shoulder injury. Let me see if I got this straight. Philly, right now, you don't have your running back, Miles Sanders, who was on my fantasy football team. Maybe I jinxed him. I don't know. Maybe I jinxed him. You don't have your starting running back. One of your starting receivers is a rookie with a hurt shoulder. Your quarterback had a soft tissue injury. Was it last week? And you've lost your starting guard and your tackle for the season. You brought back your former great tackle who was playing guard, who was disgruntled because he didn't want to get shipped to tackle without getting paid like one. They had to bite the bullet and pay him. He's old and he stays broke down. And that doesn't even mention all the other guys that are injured right now on your team. And yet, with all these guys banged up, running back, and I know Goddard, he was injured. I know Zach Ertz, his feelings are hurt right now because they haven't signed a long-term deal. And he's seeing all these mega deals that are being made all over the place. Right?
Since I started Noom, I've lost 70 pounds. I've lost 97 pounds with you.
I've lost 92 pounds.
You're predicting your team not only to win the division, but to win it by at least 3 games? Yeah, I'm a homer. I'm all in on my Dallas Cowboys, but the highest I'll go with my team is 11-5. I ain't saying we'll win the division, but one other thing about winning the division, dog, you do know that over the course of the last 16 seasons that nobody's repeated as NFC East champions. And it doesn't matter if you won a Super Bowl or not, because we've had 3 Super Bowl champions that didn't come back the next year to win the division. I'm just saying, that's one of those things. You're fighting that statistic right there. All right, so that's enough of that blowhard. So, and I see I'm getting a notification because Philly sent me a text that said, you know I'm going to come back and hit you hard. I'm going to hit you hard, Marcos. So, he's already hitting me. So, that's cool. That's cool. But don't take my word in Philly 500 because, we're homers. We are for our team. The thing that was amazing, though, is it wasn't just us that was saying that stuff. This is actually Yahoo Sports that gave a preview last year of the NFC East. Let's go.
In the NFC East this season, 3 of the teams have new head coaches. Washington retired its old nickname. Dallas has a quarterback playing on the franchise tag as they all try to knock off the Eagles from winning the division for the 3rd time in 4 years. Okay. Let's start with the Dallas Cowboys, who will have a kind of unhappy Dak Prescott, who didn't get the long-term deal he was after, but at least he's under contract. I expect Dak to have a huge season, and he has a brand new head coach, Mike McCarthy. That could mean wonders for the offense. A lot of people have complained about Jason Garrett, but McCarthy's going to bring some new blood. Personnel-wise, it was a weird offseason for the Cowboys. They lost some key pieces like cornerback Byron Jones, pass rusher Robert Quinn, but then followed that up with a really, really good draft headlined by Oklahoma receiver CeeDee Lamb, who's going to help make this one of the best offenses in the NFL. When I look at the Cowboys' schedule, the tough part comes right at the end. They're going to host the San Francisco 49ers in Week 15. Then they get to host the Philadelphia Eagles Week 16 in what might be an NFC East championship game. Then Week 17 is a tricky road game at the New York Giants. The Cowboys over-under win total at BetMGM is 9.5, and I'm going to take the over. I think Dak Prescott is going to be motivated, playing on the one-year deal, and I think the Cowboys are going to go over 9.5 wins. Next up is the defending NFC East champion Philadelphia Eagles, who saw a lot of departures and additions in the offseason. They did lose some veteran pieces like safety Malcolm Jenkins, receiver Nelson Aguilar, but made a big trade to get cornerback Darius Slay from the Detroit Lions. Then came the draft where they added TCU receiver Jalen Reagor, a very good piece. They needed some help at receiver, and then a stunning pick in round 2, taking quarterback Jalen Hurts, even though they still have Carson Wentz in the fold. With the Eagles' schedule, it's easy to pinpoint the key games. It's both showdowns against the Dallas Cowboys. In Week 8, they're going to host Dallas on Sunday Night Football, a huge game. And then Week 16, they travel to Dallas in a game that might end up determining the division title. At BetMGM, the Eagles' over-under win total is 9.5. I'm going to go under. Adding Jalen Hurts might bring a little bit of a quarterback controversy to Philadelphia. I just don't trust the Eagles, and I'm going to play it safe and play the under. Next up is the New York Giants, who have a brand new head coach in Joe Judge. Eli Manning is retired, which means this is Daniel Jones' show at quarterback in New York now. The Giants did get Jones some help, drafting Andrew Thomas, offensive tackle out of Georgia, with the 4th overall pick. That's really going to help their line. The Giants turned to free agency to help the defense, picking up some pieces like cornerback James Bradbury from the Panthers, linebacker Blake Martinez from the Packers. The Giants' schedule is going to be challenging early on. In Week 3, they host the 49ers, defending NFC champions, a very tough game. Then they play at the Los Angeles Rams, and then they go on the road to play at the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants' over-under win total at BetMGM is 6.5. I'm going to play the under. I think that this is the type of team that might struggle out of the gate with a new coach after this really, really weird offseason. Now we move on to Washington, which has had a very tumultuous offseason. First of all, they did retire their old nickname. And then a little bit after that, the Washington Post came out with an explosive story about sexual harassment within their front office. On the football side, they did make a key addition for a culture change, hiring coach Ron Rivera. They added many key pieces in free agency, most notably cornerback Kendall Fuller. And then in the draft, the biggest addition of all, defensive end Chase Young with the 2nd pick. Washington passed on many of the top quarterbacks in the draft to pick Young, who's going to be an immediate impact player and a possible defensive rookie of the year candidate. When I look at the schedule, Washington's going to be challenged right away, starting with a game against Philadelphia at home, very tough game. Then they go on the road for a couple tricky games. At Arizona, a much improved team, and at Cleveland, which has a ton of talent. They finish up that 4-game stretch with a home game against Baltimore, which might be the most talented in the NFL. Washington's over-under win total at BetMGM is 5, and I'm going to take the over. I think Rivera is a very good coach. I think Dwayne Haskins is a better quarterback in year 2. Chase Young will be an impact player. This team does have a little bit of talent, and 5 isn't a high bar to cross. If you want to get in on the action...
Well, so... You can see how they ended up looking at this. You know, everybody looked and said the key thing on his thing was he literally circled the 49ers on there. And everybody thought, oh, the 49ers, you know, Kyle Shanahan, he's a genius. They've got it together. Just went to the Super Bowl and fell up a little short against Kansas City. They're going to be a juggernaut. But interestingly enough, they fell apart. And that seems to be the way of NFC championship teams. You can go back from Carolina going to the Super Bowl and how they went downhill. You can go back through Atlanta when they went to the Super Bowl and how they tanked. And I dare say it doesn't necessarily bode well for Tampa Bay as well. I think Tampa Bay will not be going back to the Super Bowl. And I say all this because we always get this off-season hype right now where they keep pointing to teams that were successful the year before and automatically think they're going to repeat. But the reality is in the NFL, there's so much turnover. You can look at us from 2014 being, you know, the catch no catch away from going to the NFC Championship and being 4-12 the next year and going from 4-12 to 13-3. It's so much up and down. And even when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they were in the basement the year before. So would it surprise me if the Eagles were to go from worst to first? Actually, it would this year. This year it really would because they've completely started all over. Excuse me. I'm choking on my words here. They literally are ass. And don't let Philly 500 fool you on that. That team is ass. But would it surprise me if the Giants were to turn it around and catch lightning in a bottle and do something? It probably would, but it wouldn't. And it would surprise me more if Washington were able to take a major step forward like everybody is predicting. So we'll have to wait and see and understand that all this talk that we get in the offseason and all of these predictions and forecasts and everything else really don't mean anything. Because in the end, it all comes down to the games on the field. And that's one of the reasons why we love football so much. So with that being said, you know the deal. It's time for the beat. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
And the only thing else I got to say is,
Happy Father's Day to all of you great fathers out there. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, you know, you'll see me later. God willing.